Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Appraisal Doctor. I am Dr. Aria A. Wilson, PhD in Urban Planning, Certified Residential Appraiser. If this is your first time on this channel, welcome. And if you are a regular subscriber, welcome back. For all your appraisal questions, urban planning, anything real estate, this is the right place to be. So stick around and let's see what question we tackle today. So today's question is, how can I make my property more valuable? How can I add value to my property? And as usual, for the purpose of simplicity, we are going to use an example that is residential. So you have bought your home. This is your home that you have invested. You more than likely have gotten a mortgage to buy this property. And you want to make sure that if it is your situation in another 2, 3, 4, 5 years, or even 10 years, you would like to know how you can actually improve on the worth of your property. You want to know how you can make your property sell for more than what the typical market would be selling this property at. Now, what do I mean by increasing the worth? I mean that if I get up tomorrow morning and I want to sell my home, how can I make that number bigger? How can I get top dollar? How can I get more than my neighbor if he or she was selling their property? How can I be above what is typically the market value? Now, if you have been a regular on this channel, you know that I always refer to the factors that affect value. Now, in everything, we need to pivot off these factors that affect value. Now, if we're trying to increase the worth of our home, if we're trying to increase the value of our property, then it means that we need to go right back to those factors that affect value. Now, we spoke about location being the most important factor. Now, that's a factor that would not be relevant in this situation because you would have already bought the home, so the location is irrelevant at this point. What do I mean by irrelevant? I mean, for the purpose of what we are talking about in terms of what can we do to increase the value of our property. Now, the location is already the location. There is nothing we can do about it. And although there might be things in the neighborhood, socioeconomic things that may affect our location, that would not be considered as something that can be controlled necessarily by the property owner. Except you have decided to abandon your property and squatters have now lived in there, or drug dealers have taken it over as a spot to do their thing. That's not what we're talking about right now. So location would not be a factor that I would advise you to address in terms of increasing the value on your home. Now, what are the things? What are the factors? The factors would have been location. It would have been the size of the property. It would have been the size of the building, because you are highly unlikely going to be able to increase the size of your lot, except there is a vacant lot beside you and you are fortunate enough to have purchased it to increase the lot size of your home. Now, typically that's not the case, but you can increase the size of your building area. Now, in terms of doing an appraisal, the most important factor is location. The next thing that we look at when we're searching for comparables to value properties is the size of the home. Now, if the size of the home is so important as a factor that the appraiser looks at in order to come up with an opinion of value, it means this is a factor that would really bear most weight in terms of increasing the value of the home. How do we address this? Now, if you are in a situation where you can afford to make substantial changes to your floor area, clearly this is going to be more expensive than doing a remodel of the kitchen, because you're increasing the footprint of the home. You're increasing the building size, which means automatically you would have increased the value. Because if your home was 2,000 square foot and it has increased to 2,300 square foot, it means that you could have possibly added an entire room or a bathroom and a room or whatever with that 300 square foot. You have added value, because if you were doing a cost approach and doing 2,000 square foot by $150 a square foot, you are now doing 2,300 square feet times 150. Immediately, mathematically, scientifically, you have increased the number on your property. In terms of doing a comparison approach, you would have increased the value on your property, because now, instead of the appraiser comparing you at 2,000 square foot with other properties between 1,800 and 2,200, you have now increased the bracket in which you are put, in which you are placed. So now you're going to be compared with properties that are 2,000 square foot to 2,500 square foot. And immediately, you are now in a bracket that is more valuable, that is more expensive, that has a higher demand in terms of pricing. So increasing the floor area is the best way to increase value. Of course, there are pros and cons, because you're going to have to go and get your, you will have to contact your local, in Jamaica, it will be the parish council. In Texas, in the US, it would be your county. Wherever you have to get permits, you have to go there and get permits, because you're increasing the footprint, and that would be considered a substantial change on the planning, on the zoning, if your county has zoning. So the moment your footprint is bigger, your value will automatically increase. Oh, you have to be careful. If you're increasing the floor area, you do not want to increase it to 3,000 square foot when there are no homes comparable to you in your subdivision at 3,000 square foot. It means that when people are shopping for homes in your area, they are going to be looking for what is the regular size, what is the median size, what is the mode size. And it means that if most people have between 2,000 and 2,500 square foot, you don't want to increase your footprint to 3,000, because now you cannot be compared to the properties within your area, and chances are your value is going to be lower than it really should be mathematically. And it is always advised, whenever an improvement is going to be done, like the increasing of your floor area, that you professionally get it done through an architect, through an engineer, through an appraiser, someone who can advise you on what you're increasing your market value to. Because there's going to be a ceiling, guys. There's going to be a ceiling within your community, and you do not want to lose because your property is now valued at $300,000 and everybody else is at $200,000, the highest being at $270,000. It's going to be difficult for you to get $300,000 if you're going to sell your property in the near future, because everybody who is coming to shop in your subdivision has a budget capping at $270,000. So I hope you understand this. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. So that is the most significant thing that a homeowner can do to increase their value. Another thing which is significant but is less expensive is to maintain the condition of your home. Make sure that it's repainted on the time it's to be repainted. All your facilities are checked out. If you are supposed to change your AC unit, if you're supposed to fix something on the roof, make sure that if something is in your home that should last 10 years, it's not sitting there for 20 years. Those are things that make sure that your value is maintained, or your value is even higher than your neighbors. Another thing you can do, so you have the condition, you can also look at what amenities are there within the community and what people are paying more for. Are they paying more for new bathrooms, more modern bathrooms? Are they paying for remodeled kitchens, Most times they do. So if you can afford to remodel your kitchen, make it more updated, making it look like what a brand new home would carry, that will increase the value. So we have spoken about 3 things: increasing the floor area. We've spoken about the condition of your home, make sure that it's maintained, make sure that it's immaculate, so that it's pristine. Those are things that you will get value for your money for if you are going to sell the property. Curb appeal is one of them. So make sure that your home looks good. It's in pristine condition, and people are going to be attracted to how it looks. So it's aesthetically pleasing on the inside and on the out. Of course, it has to be functional as well, and that comes under condition. So all of that comes under condition. And then the third thing that I mentioned was remodeling. Look at what the new homes are offering and try to bring your home to that standard. Those are definite things that can increase the value of your property. I am not going to get into every single possible thing you can do, but generally it is making sure that your home is maintained and increasing the amenities that are attached to your home. So we spoke about remodeling. You could also do something like add an outbuilding if that's something people are paying more for in your area, in your market area. If people are paying more for pools, you could add a pool. If people are paying more for a pit on the outside, a fire pit where you can do outdoor eating or whatever, look at what properties are getting top dollar in your market area. Look at what is causing them to be able to demand this top dollar and pretty much follow them. So I am going to end this week's episode on that note. I hope I have provided sufficient answers. I have clearly not exhausted all the ways in which you can increase the value of your home, but those are definite starter points. Those are the main ones. And if you have any more questions, you can let me know in the comment section. I hope I have answered the question for you today. How can I increase the value of my home if I want to resell it? Thank you once again for joining me on this episode of the Appraisal Doctor. If you are not yet subscribed to this channel, I hope you consider subscribing and follow through while I answer more questions on the Appraisal Doctor. See you in the next one.